Zoom when we're live, now streaming live. Hello.
Hello.
Right, I'm just going to do my little tinkering in the background so I can get the soul system up so that I can see us.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Discussion on the soul system. I'm in there. We're live. Right.
We are live. We're there. Cool.
So that I can see the comments and then just turn the sound off. We can hear ourselves in the background. Great. Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hopefully, if you're not here with us now, catch this on #replay because we have an extra special soul sister guest here today. You get sick of hearing me and Donna ramble on at you consistently week to week. So yeah, we're spicing it up with our soul squad. So this is one of our members of our soul squad. So
hello.
Want to introduce yourself, Mel?
Yes, I am Mel from the Soul Squad, and I do have to put a little apology in for the chicken on my head. And when I posted that on Facebook, I never expected that anyone other than a really small handful of people would see it. And then the advert went up for the live stream with me with this. Well, it's actually a turkey. It was taken at a Christmas party, and I thought, yeah, maybe I need to change my picture. So I don't often go around with the chicken on my head.
Well, it'll catch people's attention, won't it?
It will.
I was chuckling because obviously Holly, my daughter Holly, who does all of that type of thing, she just uses whatever picture. So when the rest of the Soul Squad or any of you are doing anything with us and you've got a picture of the chicken on your head and it's going to start being comments, if you want to change your picture.
Yeah, change it now.
Fine. But that's just showing your personality.
It is, absolutely, yeah. And I am the kind of person who would wear a chicken on their head, so fair enough.
For it today.
It's not even mine. I can't even remember where it came from. But yeah, I definitely don't have it in the house. It's not mine.
It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. Right, I'm just going to check in with who we've got on Facebook. So give me a moment. Trying to get everything so I can see it all. So we have Heather is in the house. Let's have a look. So we've got Alison, Thomas.
Hi Heather. Hi Alison.
Yvette, Sarah.
Hi Yvette, Sarah. Cool.
Gina, Heather. Ooh. Donna. Love it.
Fabulous.
Heather said that we bonded over turkey.
We did, and then we both found out that on a messenger call we'd both used the foot face changing app. So we both got a picture with a chicken on our head, and we both got a picture of our faces inside a foot. So we are there's definitely some kind of kindred spirit ship going on there.
Some kind of kindred spirit. Quite odd, but you know.
It is odd.
Well, yeah. Oh, Tina saying you bonded over red wine. Okay. I feel a soul sister theme going on here.
Yeah.
So, foot face.
Crazy pictures and alcohol. Yeah.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Sarah. Well, this is lovely. We've got lots of people here. So Mel, who is part of our soul squad, and the team helped Donna and I spice things up this week because we always sit at the beginning of each month thinking, right, what can we do in the soul system next month? And then you guys came up with all these fabulous ideas because we're in coronavirus times. And you guys rightly said it is impacting quite a lot of people in terms of their roles. Decisions are being made with people's roles. People have got time to stop and think and wonder, are they in the right role? Is this what they want to do for the rest of their lives? You know, there's a lot of uncertainty going on. And when we did the Kiosk to Calm masterclasses, there was a lot of people who were feeling uncertain about their roles and their jobs, and which impacts your security, your stability. So it's a much bigger thing, isn't it, about how it makes you feel as a person. And when you've got family and people to support, it can be quite a worry. So thank you so much for you to come up with this theme.
That's all right. It's very, very relevant at the moment.
Very, very relevant. So Mel is going to share with us like a personal story that you've experienced in terms of a loss of a job, aren't you? And we're just going to chat through like a little bit around like how that felt, how it impacted others, and now that you have survived/thrived,
absolutely,
get you to just share for other people who might have joined us and who are watching replay, like if they're in the same position, how do they thrive through it? So do you want to just tell us your story?
Fill you in. So so I've been in HR for about 13-14 years, and I've been working my way up, and I'll make the point now because that's what I thought I wanted. That's what I thought you should do when you start a new career. You go up, 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 up. So I'd done that, and I got this job as an HR manager for a company, and in my world everything was going fine, but unbeknownst to me, things weren't clearly going well for the managers. And at my 6-month probation, they just basically said, yeah, it's not working out. You know, we'll give you a bit of money, but essentially just go. And I literally got in the car and drove home and just thought, I don't know what's just happened. And all the way through, I likened it to being dumped. Because there was no explanation, there was no, they didn't even have the courtesy to go, it's not you, it's us. You know, it was just, when I don't know, I never got any answers. So I came home, and obviously I was gutted. All of the emotions that you go through. So I was in shock, and I cried a little bit, and then I felt really angry, and it was disbelief, and quite numb for the first few days. And but the very next day I had to start taking action. I had to start looking for a job. I had to go and sign on. I had to look at my financial situation. So again, if I use the relationship analogy, it was a bit like being dumped, and then the very next day having to go out and find a new boyfriend there and then, even though it was the last thing you wanted to do because you weren't ready for it. So yeah, I remember sitting on my sofa about 3 or 4 days in and going, you've got a choice here. You can either spend the next few weeks sitting on your sofa, watching telly, probably putting weight on, feeling a bit sorry for yourself, or you can start thinking about things. And I think the biggest problem I had was I get a lot of my self-esteem from work. It's probably the main source of my self-esteem. So that had been ripped away because somebody had said, we don't want you, with nothing to rationalize that way. So how do you pick yourself up from that? And everything was happening externally. Job applications were outside of me. Going to the job centre was all outside. They were all external actions, and I had to start looking inside because I just didn't know what to do. And I was applying for everything I could see that had HR in the title without giving it any thought whatsoever. So I was lucky enough to have a couple of contacts who, just from my HR, like, who offered to do a couple of a little bit of profiling with me. And I started to work out what was actually important to me, what was important in my work, what was important, and that led to me realizing what was important in my life. Turns out climbing up a career ladder and reaching the pinnacle of some kind of director position was absolutely not one of my true callings. It didn't energize me. So I did this huge quiz, lots of questions, and it turns out that doesn't float my boat.
That wasn't even one of your motivators.
That wasn't one of my motivators at all. Managing other people, dealing with budgets, writing strategies, arguing my case in a boardroom, no, not at all. I did that at the same time I was trying to work out what my values were. And I did a very, very strict exercise where there was a list of about 100, and I had to reduce that down to 8, and then I had to reduce it to 2.
Yeah.
And my two values ended up being or are integrity and connection.
Yeah.
And they just didn't match up with this upward career trajectory that I thought I should. That's really important. I thought I should be on this.
Yeah.
And then somebody said to me, where's that should come from?
Yeah.
And I didn't even have an answer. It didn't come from my parents. It didn't come from from a boss, because I was out of work. It was coming from something in me that thought I needed this to prove to the world that I was something.
Absolutely.
And going up and getting promotions and earning more money, that was my I could say to the world, hey, look at me, aren't I good?
Yeah.
But it turned out that even that external validation is pretty relevant to me.
It wasn't important, but at the time,
No.
so can I just take, so at the time when you were in it and you thought that that's what you wanted, this inner proof, because I did the same, so this inner need, get promoted, get higher. What was it, do you think, now you can reflect back, were you trying to, what was that giving you? What was your payoff?
My payoff for climbing that ladder was a sense of worth. That was probably the only place at that time I felt like I could get any sense of worth from. And I guess it didn't help that that's been my life story as well. So got my first job, did really well, got promoted, and even before that, did well at school, was expected to go at university, went to university, did well at university, left university, so apart from the fact this kind of failure had never happened to me before, so I had no coping mechanisms for it because it never happened. That was just what I got used to doing, and I never stopped to question it. And then when I did question it, and the responsibility that came with the should was taken away, was amazing. It was like, you mean I don't have to do this? You mean I don't have to face these management jobs and compete at a high level in interview processes? You mean I don't? Well, that kind of feels quite nice. Amazing.
So just two things to point out there, and we've got loads of people commenting, Mel. So just around Alison's had a light bulb moment, never thought to look at my values. A lot of people are talking around like, my good God, like looking at your values and matching that up. So there's a lot of eye openers and light bulb moments. But I think that thing there around feeling your worth, and we talk about so much, your worth, like you said, your self-esteem was coming from external gratification.
Absolutely.
External. That's the rug's pulled away. Your worthiness levels have come from your role, that gets pulled away. Like, what were you saying to yourself? So in that moment when you drove home,
my God,
what was your internal dialogue? What was the stuff? What were you saying to yourself?
What, after the rug had been pulled? Oh my God. So I was worthless. I was stupid. I was blind. Could I not see what was going on? How dare I think I could actually get this job and deserve it? And why would anybody want me now? And one of the hardest things was that I had to create a story. So when I went for interviews and they said, oh, what happened in your last job? I couldn't sit there and tell the truth, because then I look like I'm bitter and angry, and it probably would have sounded like that. So I had to create this massive fake reason that completely clashed with my integrity, because what I wanted to say, because I am very like this, I'll spill it all out and tell everyone the truth, but actually people don't get it, and in interview situations they don't want to hear it. So that was really tough, because I couldn't even be honest. So that was it, and it spilled over into everything else. So then I became unfit, unattractive, I was fat, I was a bad parent, and it just spiraled until somebody said, where's this should come from, and lifted it off my shoulders, and then I didn't have to be anything anymore.
Wow.
I wanted to be. And that's when I started journaling a little bit more, and reading things, and taking opportunities, because I had nothing to lose. So I didn't get a proper job for a while. I did admin jobs that were paying just over minimum wage. They were great, because I could just go in and just be. And it got rid of a lot of my sense of perhaps snobbery around my work. And I started to take opportunities because I had nothing else to do. And then I ended up getting a job, as you do, because time goes by, and you start to let go of the negativity, and you start to work on yourself, and you start to realize what you can do. But the biggest thing was me realizing that I got to do what I wanted to from this point onwards, to an extent. I had to take a job because I had bills to pay. But that job wasn't my forever. That wasn't my life. That was just a job because I needed a job, because we all do. But I didn't have to become that job. And as I was journaling one day, and I never do this because I'm always too embarrassed, I flicked back through to the early pages and found that I'd written little notes about how I wasn't happy in the job that I'd been binned off from. And I was struggling with it, and I had ideas for a website and a blog, and that actually what was coming out was, at that time, was I wanted to coach, or I wanted to work with people more. And I went back and went, it's been there for a long time, and this is going to be my new thing. I'm not on the HR career ladder anymore, because actually I've learned it doesn't fit with my values, and it doesn't energize me, and I get more frustration than pleasure out of it. I can hold down an HR job because it's what I can do, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into doing the things that I love. So where I said on my post that I feel like I gained more than I lost, I gained the someone unlocked me, and I came out because I was free from this mindset that I had to be on this path, and I had to be doing this, I should be doing this, and I should be doing that.
And that's who, when you said someone unlocked me, you unlocked yourself, lovely.
I did, yes.
On someone else, it was you. No. And somebody might ask you a great question, like, where does the should come from, which has obviously been such a huge aha moment for you, which is amazing.
Massive, yeah.
Lifted over there, but you unlocked yourself. And like you say, you'd have this, the universe has been giving you whispers and signs, and when you've looked back, you've realized, but the universe gave you this, might not have felt like it at the time, but the universe has nudged you in the right direction. But all of these thoughts, like you say, like the things we tell ourselves, that's our fear going into overdrive, because it's like, right, see, and you knew this was going to happen, and this is what happens, and and this inner critic just starts going wild, like to town.
It does.
And how did that impact, like, your family? Obviously you've got children, like, how were you around, like, the people close to you when all that was going on?
So I didn't tell my children, because they're probably too young to really understand the situation, but old enough to be a little bit worried. So they just thought I was working from home, and didn't really question why I was doing the school run and the school pickups. And I was just telling them that I was just working from home a little bit more. So they didn't know anything about it. My mum, and she was quite supportive, and it was really funny because my mum's quite proper and she never swears. And she did, when I told them what had happened, she said, well, I think they're shit. And that felt really good because I made my mum swear. But what I found was people were saying probably what they thought I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So things like, you'll have a job by the end of the month. It's their loss every time you got turned down. And I wanted to absorb all that sympathy because that was going to help. And it just didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It was about stopping chasing after everything, giving myself permission to just actually enjoy this time off. I realised I didn't need as much money as I think I do, because when you don't have it and you don't spend it, it's amazing what you do not miss.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a relief. And then I started going around telling everyone, oh my God, you should all have 4 months off work. Don't work for 4 months. It's amazing. It's the only time in your life you'll ever get to think.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I'm honest, the job that I'm in now, it's not always right for me. That's a whole other story, that an interesting one that we might go into at one point. When you've had that massive confidence knock, when you start a new job, it's not over. So that was a huge challenge in itself, and maybe a story for another day. But that doesn't matter, because now, well, two things. Firstly, it is just a job. But secondly, and you can back me up on this one, Cheryl, I've set it as an intention, as a goal, to lean into it and go, and it's not the job I would have chosen for myself, but you know what, I'm going to get everything I can out of it. I'm going to learn and learn and learn, because like you said, at some point the universe has gone, we've been giving you all these tips and you're just not listening, so we're going to slap you in the face with something really horrible and force you to listen. So I'm thinking there must be something I can get out of this. And although my daily tasks don't float my boat, the organisation is much more akin to my values.
Amazing. And that is absolutely amazing. And what you mentioned before, I'll just come back to the attachment. So we call, when your self-worth is attached to external things, it's called attachment. And what you mentioned just a little bit earlier was you've separated the attachment, and we call it non-attachment. So being, and it's something Donna and I still practice every day, not being attached to the external result or gratification or whatever it is. And it seems like you've got that much more on balance, that you're not getting all of your worth from what job you're in or how much money you're getting or how high up you are. But it's coming from within. Non-attachment, your self-worth has developed and you're feeling more worthy. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's about how I feel now every day, not what I do. Yes,
love it.
Yeah, and I have days where the tasks at work, that, you know, there's a lot of data, there's a lot of Excel, they're not my things. But when I manage to do them, it's partly external, I guess, but what I feel inside is a sense of achievement. Because I had a choice. I remember standing in the kitchen in my new job one day and it hadn't been going very well, and I was like, you've got a choice, you can walk out the door, I'm giving you permission to walk out the door. And I didn't, because I thought, I can learn this stuff, and I don't need it. I know now that I am capable of doing lots and lots of different things, and I'm capable of picking myself up every day, and I'm capable of feeling good, and I'm capable of asking difficult questions like, where does this should come from, and not being scared to answer it. What was really interesting was one of the things I felt like I'd lost was stability. And I did the Lifeline exercise from the Real You program, and when I scripted it all out, I looked at it and thought, you've never had stability. Actually, you've never had stability. Where's it come from that you think you've had it? Because the longest you've been in a job is 4 years, and that ended in redundancy. So redundancy, fixed term contracts. In my early days when I was teaching abroad, it was a new contract in a new country every year. So again, I was hanging on to something that I've never even had.
But it's belief. So we form these, but the word stability has a belief attached to it. Whether we have any evidence or not to support that belief to be true. I got made redundant from the last 3 corporate roles I was in, you know, but it's just we have a belief attached to the word stability. So that's really key when you look back there. I think the other thing loads of people commenting on as well, Mel, is just around the values piece. So I think that's and Don is just sharing for those who were on the Real You program. There's a whole exercise in there around that as well. But you said it came back to connection and integrity, which is so powerful, because now as you move forward into whatever else you choose to do, you know fundamentally that that's what you want to be able to be that. Yeah. The majority of time. All of us have tasks and things that we don't float our boat, but for the majority of the time, you want to feel like you're being true to yourself, working in integrity and feeling connected to others.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm still in the process of learning to remove the blocks that come with beliefs. Yeah. So I'm convinced myself that the work I'm doing at the moment isn't right for me, and it has been a bit of a blocker to stop me actually embracing what I'm doing. You take that away and just go for it. Just go to work and see what happens today, see what you get out of it. And suddenly it becomes a nicer thing to do every day.
Becomes easier. We like to make things difficult for ourselves, don't we? We don't know that's what we're doing. Yeah. We're making things difficult by the things we're telling ourselves. If we just could make it easy. That's amazing. So Mel, from you going through that experience, coming through, increasing your self-worth, understanding the values, now not being attached to your work, but just seeing it more as opportunities to learn and evolve and grow. What would be the tips? What's your top tips? Oh, I nearly said something else there.
But you did. So I would say don't do what I did and rush into, if you find yourself in this situation, if you're redundant or you lose your job for whatever reason, don't go to a job interview in the first few weeks, because every emotion that you have attached to that experience will leak out in the interview. And believe me, I got feedback about that. I really did, which was good.
Like stalking around the neck of a 10 to 2 when you've just been done trying to find a replacement.
Yeah, exactly. I would take time to really get to know yourself, and if people are commenting on the values, I've never even thought about what my values were and never thought that they would relate in any way to my work. And now it's such an obvious relationship between what goes on in your heart and what you do every day. I would say, I'm not going to say stay positive, because that was too bland. It took a lot of work. I had to be constructive. I had to ask myself hard questions. So I would say to people, take the time to ask the questions that you would never have asked yourself before, and don't be afraid of the answers, because you don't have to do anything with the answers yet. You don't. You just, as long as you, so I know what my values are, and that's fine for now, because they'll come back. It'll come into play later. Yeah. And listen to, question what your should is. Are you giving yourself a should? Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to be able to afford it, then take the time to really consider what to do next. And again, you may feel, I should be out looking for a job. I shouldn't be sitting around reading because I'm out of work. I should. Let it go. Take each day as it comes. Take each opportunity, no matter how small, and just roll with it. Because I was a total non-believer in the universe before, but I'm telling you now, there's something going on there. Don't panic, roll with it and get to know yourself.
My goodness, you are amazing.
Yes, I would also apply all those rules to what you do after you've just been dumped as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not just getting information about when we lose a job, we're getting information about what to do when we've been dumped. But
absolutely.
It is the same thing, because whether it's dumping a job or it's rejection, it's abandonment, whatever it is, like all of this inner stuff and our worthiness levels are attached to whatever the experience is, isn't it? So that's a good metaphor that you've used there that people can liken it to. We've all been dumped. Come on, admit
it. Absolutely.
And then I wonder out what the hell happened, and actually they were an arsehole anyway. But you know. So thank you so much, Mel. God,
You're welcome.
Now how quick is that gone?
Very quick.
Gone. And honestly, we've had so much interaction on the group. You can go and have a look after. But
I will, yeah.
You were amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will apologise if it got very waffly. Once I start, I do find it hard to stop.
Mel,
I'm not allowed to say sorry, am I?
You were amazing.
Oh yeah, this is the bit where I just go, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. I'm going to just, you can hang on, Mel, you can hang on. I'm just going to stop the stream. So thank you everybody on Soul System.
Thank you.
Who's watching back on replay, would love to know your thoughts if it's on replay as well in the comments. But Mel's kicked off our career week. Tomorrow we have a vet talking about chaos, career chaos. So we'll be back at 12:30. But Mel, you have been amazing kicking this off this week. Thank you so much. We are signing out. Bye, Soul System.
Bye.
Bye.